to Bitcoin Podcast. The only one that's making your money is you. Listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. So hold on and listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. Hold on and listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. And you listen to the Bitcoin Podcast. And you listen to the Bitcoin Podcast.
Hey, song's so good.
It really is.
So for those of you wondering what that says, it says the only one making you money is you. Right? So it's like it's kind of like
hold on.
hashtag. So hold on for life. Hold on for life. That's the lyrics are. That's why it's it's kind of like hashtag no investment advice. That's what we say right at the beginning. So if we ever get brought to a court of law, look, we say it at the beginning of this shit. The only one making you money is you. All right, that's there it is. So hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Bitcoin Podcast. I'm the host of Talks First, D.
I am another host, Dr. Corey Petty, coming at you.
Nice.
And I'm the third host, Jessie.
Sorry. Somebody's sorry. I get distracted by the comments.
What are you drinking, dude?
I'm drinking life, bro. I am high on life.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to Jessie in his like little teacup.
Dude,
Oh.
I'm actually enjoying it. So I have this little cup for a thermos of tea that's been like souped up with like extra caffeine, so I can like really be here and
Some
with it.
yerba mate.
Like no, it's just like straight up green tea, and then I just like threw some caffeine pills in the thermos.
I wanted some caffeine. I didn't want to make coffee. I wanted some tea.
Yeah,
You know, I threw a bunch of
Absolutely.
caffeine in my tea, and we're good.
Nice. Well, let me tell you why I feel so high, gentlemen. For the very first time in 35 years of living on this planet, I went and I had a spaghetti day.
I don't know what that is.
you went to the spa.
I took half of the day. I got a massage.
You said spaghetti.
Yeah, like spaghetti day.
All right. Okay.
It's okay. The only reason
Somebody
I picked up
doesn't
on that
watch,
is because I read what D posted earlier.
Somebody doesn't watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, obviously.
No.
Remember when
I
they
do,
tried
but
to
I didn't get that one.
Oh, when they tried to treat Charlie to a spa day, and he was like, "Why do you keep saying this spa? What is spa? Are you taking me to eat spaghetti? Is this a spaghetti day? I'll go eat spaghetti." And then all throughout the episode, he has a plate of spaghetti, and he's like,
Okay. I didn't
It's
get
like-
that reference. Okay.
"Okay, well, Always Sunny in Philadelphia." Anyways, you guys know what we're talking about.
Dude, that interview was awesome.
We're talking about non-fungible tokens.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, it's the same thing, right? Like the interview was about that. So
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. So somebody once asked me, "What the fuck is an NFT?" And I answered them this. I said, "It's a non-fungible token." Boom. Conversation over. So that's
what do you mean?
it. All right,
You mean like just stop listening, or like you're
Nope.
done and you walked away?
That
You're
was
like,
it.
mic drop. I'm leaving.
That's it. I didn't say anything more. No. So for those of you listening that don't know, fungibility means not only like equally weighted, I guess, rations of a thing, right? So like if we take the dollar, a dollar is a dollar is a dollar is a dollar. But if you take baseball cards, you could have 1,000 baseball cards, and the Babe Ruth is going to be worth way more than the Jose Canseco, right?
Mm.
So that's fungibility. When something is
My dollar is no different than your dollar. If we
That is
exchange dollars, it doesn't make any difference.
these are
It's like
facts.
I for all intents and purposes, by the way, not for all intensive purposes, which was what I thought it was when I was younger. For all intents and purposes,
Yes.
it's the same thing, right?
Intents and purposes.
No,
Want me to read the book definition?
Intensive purposes.
Intensive
That's what I thought it was.
purposes.
That's a reasonable thought. Anyway, so like fungible means that it doesn't matter what dollar I have a dollar. Non-fungible means that I have this thing and it's unique. It has a level of uniqueness to it. That's about it. That's the general gist of the definition.
I'll give you the real one from Investopedia. Fungibility is the ability of a good or asset to be interchanged with other individual goods or assets of the same type. Fungible assets simplify the exchange and trade processes, as fungibility implies equal value between the assets.
Yeah, like I said, what I have, if it's fungible, you owning a specific amount of things is equal to me owning this specific amount of things of the same type. Like we can trade that and nothing changes. Whereas if like you have a non-fungible asset and I have a non-fungible asset, when we trade it, it's not the same thing because they're different things. Right? Fungible means tradable without making a difference. Right?
Okay. So, with all that being said, they're the bee's knees right now in crypto, because the rest of the world is finally starting to figure out what we've known for years, that digital uniqueness is important. And especially in the world we live in, having digital uniqueness means something, right? It means a lot, because you can now own something digitally that no one else can, or you can give it to someone else and you no longer have it. And you can prove that you no longer have it, and they can prove that they do. You can, of course, it's a JPEG or whatever, and you can make a copy of it. But let me tell you something. It's not going to be the original. And being the original counts. Obviously. I wish my name were Beeple right now. Not because it's a weird ass name, but because this fucking guy named Beeple, or girl, I don't know, artist, sold their shit for $69 million, bro.
Can someone explain that to me? I don't know. I don't know the context of what happened here. Like what is the actual NFT that he or she sold for such
Let's
a
see if we
money?
can see if we can bring it up.
I'll tell you. So the NFT only has value because Beeple has an art style that is in line with the ideology behind Bitcoin, or at least people who are libertarians in Bitcoin.
Yes.
And they're like basically against the institution, against the like stick it to the man, right? That's his art style.
Does it stand for Bitcoin people?
I think in some of the NFTs, the one that was worth a lot was literally just the election NFT, right? It showed Trump lying
transformed, right? It had transformed, didn't it? Okay.
Right, it did. So that was the one that was worth a lot of money. Now there's a new one that's basically a collage of a bunch of pieces of that he's made in the past, and that one was recently sold for even more money.
Like 60 million, right?
Something like that, yeah. 60 something.
$69 million.
So he has this track record of this art style that is unique to him, that is in line with the existing ideology of Bitcoiners. So it's just like, it's like a Ninja being good at Fortnite and making the Twitch partnership. Like sometimes the stars align for these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
According to Daniel in the private chat, he said 5,000 days.
Mm-hmm.
A dude makes a new piece every single day for 5,000 days. And
Yes.
that
was the
like
piece.
what he sold was the like the amalgamation of all these things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm curious. I don't know any. I basically know nothing about this other than it happened. What's the technical background that he's using to disperse this thing and sell it? Like, where is this NFT being created, and where is he selling it?
So he's got one for sale, I believe, on Nifty. I think he's on multiple places.
Fuck,
and so
that's
are
such a good
a bunch of different so are a bunch of different artists, right? Musicians as well. Like Deadmau5 is releasing on a few different NFT platforms.
Who's Deadmau5?
Deadmau5 5.
Are you talking about Deadmau5 5?
Yeah,
Deadmau5 5.
Oh, okay.
I literally called them that for like the first year I listened to them with all my friends. That's why D said that, because I only call them Deadmau5 5. I was a fan.
He's good. Definitely.
Sorry, Jesse. We definitely interrupted you. You were
No.
trying to say something.
I don't know.
But
Just
go on, please. Deadmau5 5.
No, so I just these artists are deploying their artwork on all the platforms. Essentially, you're asking which one? All of them.
Good.
Jesse.
So like, I'm curious.
Okay.
Yeah.
The technology hasn't changed, right? So like,
Uh-huh.
they're still using the ERC 721 standard for the most part. There's a few others that are modifications of the ERC 721 standard, which is where if like the CryptoKitties came up with.
Mhm.
CryptoKitties defined the standard, and then there's a few kind of modifications that are very close to it, right? Nothing's much changed since then, other than a lot of infrastructure that supports this standard. What's different now than when CryptoKitties started? Why is this becoming so popular now, where people are willing to just throw untold millions at things, and celebrities are like, yeah, I want to do that. Whereas beforehand, that wasn't the case. What's going on now?
I would say there was no medium for it being easy for people with an established track record for being famous of any one thing that people in crypto like for them
ready
to
for
interact with.
Corey, you ready for this? Remember when I used to say this dumb shit all the time? Remember when I used to say this dumb shit all the time?
Wait,
Negro Damas is about to speak. No one is making this stuff cool. It's that easy. Like, I know the people, Corey, I know you and your colleagues are leagues of intelligence. Like, it's a league of intelligence that is just, I'm pretty sure there's like 17 syllable words just being thrown around and 5 syllable words, just having a good time talking about network propagation, all the things. Those are great. Who the fuck is making it cool? Who's making it cool? The NBA made it fucking cool. The NBA made it cool as shit. And they're like, you know what? You can buy these rare fucking clips of people making the greatest shots in NBA history, and you're the only person that can own them when you buy this trading card pack. And there's only going to be so many. There's rares, like Jordan making the game-winning shot in Game 5.
Did we turn digital Magic the Gathering into like everything? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the NBA was like, you know what? We should just take Magic the Gathering and turn it into like all the things.
Everything. Just turn it into all the things. Right? And so people are focused. Now there's the space has expanded, and now on the edges, the people that sole focus in life to make things cool, they're in on the party now. And they're gonna make this shit cool as shit. Bitcoin's
how much of this is like people just flexing because they think they own something that's unique?
a lot of it. A lot of people who got in on ETH early, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to say I own this thing, and regardless of whether or not they may or may not. It may not be true, right? Because something was brought up. Like, as a nerd, I'm thinking about what's going to go wrong in a lot of the scenarios. And when you have NFTs being distributed across a bunch of different networks, and how to identify what's the actual unique one, which is going to be an issue later on down the line.
Yeah, that's going to be an issue. I did see an interesting tweet that I wanted to follow because it got, I like to find the single points of failure sometimes. And this one, NFTs, you say? Huh. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to talk like that if you look like that. It's just highly likely that you do talk like that if you look
I think
like
we should all buy bowler hats for or top hats for an episode.
I think I like the cut of your jib.
Only talk with like old English aristocrat accents for the entire episode.
I say I saw a tweet, my friend. A tweet from a gentleman who said, since it's my digital art, I'll just take it out of my Google Drive and then I'll own it still and you'll just own a token. Ha! And I said, interesting.
Hogwash, my dear friend.
Corey, what say you?
I'm not going to keep going. It's for later. Okay. Here we go.
It's if you ever see a black man talking like that, you could automatically assume he's a little bit insane. Like that's kind of like that guy up there. All right, so that's an interesting proposition because I know blockchains are not robust enough to store video images. Video images are weighty. They got some beef in them, right? Like a good, well cooked beef pot pie, baby. Ground beef, not steak, you fucking heathens. Now, where are these video files being stored? And if someone takes that storage away, what does that token even mean?
Yeah, I've been wondering the same thing. Like, how are those media files being stored?
I'll tell you how they're being stored. It depends, right? So, like, what you're selling with an NFT for the majority of the concept. My dogs may bark here in the middle of this off the mute. Is you're selling a unique piece of digital information that references a bunch of stuff on the internet. If the things that they're referencing are mutable and meaning that they can be changed, then the NFT can be changed. And you saw this from an artist. An artist sold a bunch of NFTs and did what he called a rug pull, and he changed all of the icons to rugs.
That's awesome.
After he had sold them. I don't know who it was.
I mean, that's terrible, but it's
hilarious,
but here's
right?
the thing.
But like, that's the thing. Like, what are you buying, right? So, like, if you're buying a unique piece of digital media, how do you know it's not going to be changed later on down the line? How do you know you own it?
Here's the thing. I got it. I got the answer. That guy that did that rug pull can get his fucking asshole sued out because he can't do that. He sold something to someone. He had property and he sold it, and then he took it back and he kept their money.
Interesting enough.
That's where he fucked up.
It depends on how you sold it, right? So, like, an NFT is literally a very broad concept. It is a unique piece of digital information. And a part of that is going to be a license, right? So there's this question of, if I sell something as an artist, do I maintain the ability to, who I sell it to, can they manipulate it and change it? Or do I maintain the rights of these things when I sell it?
That's the unique
art,
difference.
For art, that's a thing. What's interesting about NFTs is that license, like, in the concept of the legality of what you can do with the thing that you sell, can be attached to the digital medium. You can do both. You can literally do both. I can give up my rights of ownership to this thing. Or I can say you can use this based on the license of you buying it. And, like, funny enough, Status does this in the sticker market, right? It's like we have a market for stickers in the Status app. And it's a multi-sided market, and that the artists can give and both sides are NFTs. The artists can give up the ownership rights and sell that to some other person, so that they end up becoming the person who controls where the funds go for the people who buy the art. And the people who would like to use stickers in the application just buy NFTs that give them the right to use them inside the application.
It's very fun, man. NFTs they really do change the game, because of the endless possibilities of what you can do, and people figuring this out is going to be funny. Like, I'd love to kind of keep tabs on that artist who pulled the rug to see where that lands, because if I'm someone who
get him on the show.
If I'm someone who bought that rug, and then all of a sudden you swap it out for some other sort of Oriental rug, you swap it out for some of that shit, I'm going to be like, no. I bought that. I own that. Give me my money back, or we're going to have some problems. Right? So thank you, Alicia. You're keeping up with that really well. All right. Now I would like to request a picture of Aladdin.
Aladdin?
Gotcha.
Not sure.
All right.
it'll come in like 10 seconds. She's furiously doing it.
Riff raff, street rats.
We're going for 19 minutes now. Let's go for another topic and then move into the interview, which I think is like one of the better interviews we've had in a long time. Right? This got me excited. Generally for crypto. There it is, Aladdin. Like, more than I've been in a long time, because it seems as though what they have done is established a link between the real world and the crypto world in a way that's not the same narrative we've been talking about for so long, in terms of, like, what's the legality of cryptocurrencies, right? It was ICOs happened, and then we're like, okay, what's the legality of dealing with ICOs? As a company, how do I deal with implementing one of these things and also being a legitimate business in the jurisdiction I operate in, and all that nonsense. And this was like a step in the direction of like, that's pretty clear now. Now I can just try and innovate. Now I can just do cool shit. And you're seeing large corporations doing this now. NBA is one of those large corporations.
Yeah.
Right? Which opens up the game to like, oh, okay. That's one of those situations where like, oh, is blockchain stupid? And then you heard that a lot throughout the years you've been trying to do this. They're like, oh, can you tell me more about blockchain? Because I heard the NBA is doing something.
Yeah.
And that's all because of this like back-end infrastructure and how comfortable we are with the legality of doing this type of stuff and what it may be useful for. Because everyone collects. Like, everyone understands that there are collectors. And this is just an obvious way to do it that's more efficient than trading baseball cards.
Yeah. It's exciting.
And
All
the
of crypto is exciting, man. I get excited now that I've come out of the rabbit hole and can go in leisurely, go in and poke around where I want to. I'm not trapped down there. I get excited seeing people again now this long in the game get just fall down that crypto mess and just like, did you know about this? Did you know about that? What's this? What's that? And I'm just like, you know what? You probably know more about that shit than I do, but I don't really need to know. Like, like it's, you probably know a lot more about it than I do, but I'm pretty sure, there's a lot of stuff I don't know about crypto. Now, what I'm interested in, and then we're going to bring it on to the interview. I'm interested to see the first person who somehow figures out how to get a yearly APY from an NFT, like from a piece of art. That's what I would look. They do. So you can build derivatives from an art NFT and sell
NFTs in general doesn't have to be art related.
This is getting good.
Let's dive into that after the interview. I want to try and like dive into that concept and what it could look like.
Like DeFi and NFTs had a baby.
So this is Vinay Gupta. I said behind the scenes while we were interviewing him that I wanted to make an NFT that he could purchase and be my uncle and come to barbecues and hang out with me and talk to me and get drunk with me. Because this man right here is like, imagine you've got a professor, like your coolest professor, and it's him. Like, just, I don't understand how this man thinks of the things that he thinks up, but he is beyond the word genius. And I always feel really honored when I get to talk with him. I've had beer with him, talking to him in person. He always looks like he's digging up dinosaur bones. I will take that little jab at you, Vinay. Same style. I like it. But anyways, without further ado, Dr. Vinay Gupta. Here it is.
How important it is that it's making that jump.
Oh shit,
like
we're looking at
finally
us.
Got something that's just Main Street can use it. You don't even have to ask what it is. Knock yourselves out, and that's huge. That's
This for the
totally
live viewers.
New horizon for crypto.
We'll cut this out for the main interview.
Yeah, it is.
Main episode.
I gotta ask you a question. This is a serious question. Are you a time traveler?
No, that's a much harder question than you think it is. Possibly, but maybe not always.
The only reason I ask is I went back and I listened to about a half hour of the very first interview you did on our podcast, the Bitcoin podcast. And you said some things that are like so accurately true now. One of the things that stood out to me was you said that this whole thing starts with cryptocurrency, but then and it's just because of human, I'd say, not ignorance. What's the word I'm looking for when someone's like green behind the ears? Naivety. Yeah, naivety. That we're just going to bucket everything into one umbrella of blockchain tech or crypto tech. And now we're starting to see the branches get a little bit more defined. Like we have NFTs now, which is, like you said, it's going mainstream, and we're finding better ways to more accurately define the nuance from tech to tech. And I just found it was amazing that you were able to kind of like predict what we're going through right now. That would have been 5 years ago. How did you do that? Like, how did you see exactly what's happening today? Is pretty much exactly what you explained in that interview 5 years ago.
So some of this is like, this is the third round of the crypto revolution for me, right? The first round was in the mid 1990s when it was all about email cryptography and that kind of stuff. Then I kind of sat out the round of the revolution, which was HTTPS certificates being deployed for the first time. Some friends of mine were very involved in that. Then I was part of the eGold ecosystem, which was a whole round of crypto history that most people forget. But we got some of our absolutely core competences from the eGold days, right? There are concepts that were critical in those days that are still critical, that are foundational in blockchain. Nobody ever talks about eGold. So, there was the eGold revolution. And then, I've largely sat out Bitcoin because I knew from eGold that currency alone was not going to cause social transformation. Money is not enough. You need the ability to build companies. You need the ability to share risk, right? So you weren't going to see social change as a result of crypto until you had smart contracts. And then when the Ethereum train came along and it was like, hey, we're smart contracts, I'm just like, okay, this is my stop. Here I get on. And that, once you've seen it run a few times, it's not so unpredictable. There's a certain kind of just like, okay, we've done this before, this happens, and this happens, and this happens, and this happens. And the drivers are kind of obvious.
So you have to go to Burning Man once in the early 90s.
That will help. But also, we're now 10 years into this thing, right?
Yeah.
When was the white paper published originally? Was it 2008?
2008, 2009?
8, implementation was 2009.
2009, right? So we're 12 years into this thing. We've probably seen 7 bull runs by now. So what happens, right? A new thing comes along. There is an enormous amount of speculation, and everybody believes the new thing is the second coming. Then you get the sort of arrival of these vulture-like, pump and dump bastards who basically, all got kicked out of multi-level marketing who decided they were crypto entrepreneurs. Then the good things in the new thing become very diluted by idiocy. And then people realize the new thing is maybe not the second coming, and then it comes off the boil again. But now you've got 10 times more people in the crypto space. And every time we go through that loop, it goes up by a factor of 10. Now, here, watch me just stick my neck all the way into the noose and say, but I think this time it's different.
I have looked at it from a different lens. I haven't been around as long as you, but from my perspective, at least with the last 2 or 3 bull runs, especially the last 2, is that a lot of it has to do with the identification of a standard, which lowers the barrier of entry for people to do something new that they were uncomfortable with beforehand. If you look at the ICO boom, that was the ERC20 standard and all of the infrastructure built around it, and the ability to deploy a generally secure token that was able to interact with a bunch of things without having a tremendous amount of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing for NFTs. And then now once you have that, you're able to signal boost the living shit out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And interoperability is a very important part of this. So, if you go back to the early days, right? Remember the kind of the shitcoin explosion? Way back.
Oh, yeah.
Bitcoin clones?
All
Dogecoin?
the Bitcoin clones. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you'd just download the Bitcoin source code, you'd hack on 200 lines, right? You'd get some mates to do some mining with you, and suddenly you had a shitcoin. So the only interoperability between shitcoins was exchanges, right? And the shitcoins themselves were kind of featureless, apart from the fact that they were kind of representative of different kinds of communities. So that sort of thing, what I see with each one of these revolutions is that the interoperability becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. The ability for me to take my project and wire it up to your project, and you wire it up to his project, and he wires up to her project, and suddenly all these pieces are working together. You've seen this with DeFi in a really gigantic way, but DeFi is still, it's like taking the guts out of a high-frequency trading system and then dumping it as a public API. Nobody really understands DeFi unless they're a full-time professional financial engineer. And then we look at this NFT thing that's happening, and the NFT thing is like you could explain it to a 5-year-old, and 5-year-olds will get it faster than adults.
Yeah, absolutely. I explained it to a close friend. She's 18. She's an up and coming artist, and I was like, hey, you should give this a shot. And I showed her, I think it was wax or one of them, and by that day, she had already sold something for like $7, and I was like, there you go. Like, just make 1,000 of those. Got yourself $7,000. Like, there you go. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited, and it does feel different. We were talking about it a little bit before the show. This feels a lot different than 2017. So
the NBA thing. I mean, the NBA thing is just like
it's massive.
It's massive, right?
Yeah.
It's a massive signal boost of authenticity or legitimacy that usually brings larger cohorts of people in that have since been sitting on the sidelines, right? Like, so when you have these, like, more often than not, celebrity endorsements or people with a lot of risk to bear endorsing such a thing, then it's like, oh, well, if they're doing it, then I should probably look into it because it's now over this threshold of legitimacy for me that I can like reason that it's going to stick around for a long enough time.
I think it's even more direct than that.
Okay.
So I got 2 threads here. Let me open one and then talk to the other. So the first thread is, have you read the contract that you get when you buy one of the NBA hotshots? Come back to that, top shots, rather. Come back to that in a second, because that's a really interesting exercise. So the other branch is just every other IP rights holder in America, in the world, is now just like that thing that the NBA just did. We do that with our stuff now. And anybody that's got a substantial library of back catalog video that's valuable, any band that's got taped concerts, any sports team, any cartoon show, any live action movie, like, what do you do if they do like, hey, we're going to take the best 100 seconds of The Matrix and we're going to sell them as NFTs?
I'd buy it.
You'd buy it.
I'd buy it in like a heartbeat.
Yeah, so anybody that has IP can just take the tech and the contract, right? And you either get it from Dapper, or you get it from somebody else, and off you go. And the contract, right? The contract is fascinating because it very clearly defines what the right is that you're buying legally when you buy one of these clips. It's an unambiguous legal framing. This is our IP right. This is the right that we grant you. This is what you actually own. In the event of a dispute, it goes to this arbitration machinery. And, the total clarity about exactly what it is you're buying that has never been there for things like Bitcoin. It's still, what is the legal definition of Bitcoin? Well, you got the miners, and, you always have this feeling that when you're interacting with Bitcoin, you're interacting with an organic, complex system that arose before it had a legal definition. So you always have this sense of like it's like a domesticated wild.
And we're back.
I was literally just like, how long is this interview?
And we're back. We just made a rapid course adjustment, and what you saw was live action tactics because I don't know what.
Oh no, because like I don't think that was like it's a 10-minute section, right? In between, so like for anyone who's watching live, because like the roundtables are now live, right? You can sit and watch them if you're a patron. Patreon up there.
It's over there.
Up there.
Jesse's
got it. Jesse's got it.
Yeah,
there it is. And so what we thought about is like for all the time that we've been doing this, for the years we've been doing this, we literally would record roundtables and we'd be like, all right, on to the interview, and then we just say like cut, right? And then we wait 15 seconds and we go back to the end of the episode. And so now that we're doing live video and people can watch this shit, we're just gonna play a portion. We're like a 5 to 10 minute portion of the interview for people to watch, so they get a live clip of what the interview was, and we pick it back up. So now we're on the back end of that, and we can pick it back up. I think. Well, if you don't like that, we can change it. Doesn't really matter.
No, I think a segment, a clip of it played during the live show makes sense.
I got
5
an
minutes
idea.
is probably better though.
Yeah, maybe.
I got an idea. I think my idea is a mega hit smasher, but we'll talk about that later.
Mega hit, smash a bang.
Mega hit. That was my favorite thing about the Black Eyed Peas ever. That I don't know. Most of their music is trash. The first 2 albums are great, but for some reason there was an album where like every other song there was an interlude where they had some random guy go mega heat smasher. And I was like, what the fuck is that? Who thought that was a good idea in the studio? They were all like, yeah.
Wyclef Jean is one of the better artists in this generation. So
Yeah,
be careful.
he is. Oh, but that's not Wyclef.
Careful.
Did I say Wyclef? I said the Black Eyed Peas.
Wyclef is in the Black Eyed Peas.
No, he's not. Will.i.am is in the Black Eyed Peas, and you're racist.
All I know is that Will.i.am is definitely in the Black Eyed Peas.
I need to figure out what I'm thinking about.
Again. You're gonna be wrong
I'm
again.
gonna
Corey.
be hard wrong here. I'm gonna figure out what I'm thinking about
This is
before
just like
y'all
guilty
continue. I'm
feet.
gonna mute. Y'all keep going.
Please do something, Corey.
I like most of the Black Eyed Peas songs. You know,
Guilty feet have got no rhythm. All right.
is that a bad one? Like, what's a bad one?
I would say the one
The
that
Fugees. What am I thinking? I'm fucking thinking of the Fugees.
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
I apologize profusely for my ignorance, and I will not talk for the rest of this episode.
No,
It's like
there's no
Andre
pause.
2000 is in the Black Eyed Peas too, right?
I'll give this to you, Corey, and that's only because I love you. Will.i.am and Wyclef Jean. If you put dreadlocks on Will.i.am,
Dang,
it might be tough. It might be tough. It might be tough.
That's a good friend, Corey.
It might be
Trying
tough.
to save you.
I appreciate that save, but it's not. It's just wrong. It's just pure wrong.
It is. It's like calling George
Those are
Foreman
two.
Mike Tyson. It's pretty wrong.
That's a wonderful
pretty
analogy to
good.
what's just happened.
This is pretty bad. No. Shit. Let's talk about crypto. We don't even fucking talking about crypto anymore.
No, so what we wanted to talk about after this was this concept you brought up of like this APY on an NFT. What does that look like?
Degeneracy.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna mute myself for a second, y'all.
By the way, that's a lot of acronyms, so maybe we should define some of them for newer audiences.
I think you're gonna have a lot of really young kids getting into that. Like,
So like APY was like what is the A in APY?
Annual
It's
percentage yield.
Annual percentage yield. So like
Yes.
how much you're getting off the top in a year from your investment. Right? So like I invested this thing. What is the expected return over the course of a year from this investment? Legit, like reasonable explanation for APY?
Yeah.
Cool. NFT, I've talked about that in the beginning. If you weren't listening, stop. Go
rewind.
Yeah.
away.
Stop and go
Rewind,
away.
try again. Rewind and try again.
Be kind. Keep
Oh God.
going, Corey. I'm here. I'm all
What
ears,
is it?
bro.
Yeah.
What is it? So like how did, like you were saying, like what does that look like, right? So like and something that happened, something that was said in that interview, which is something I thought about was interesting. We built this concept of digital currency. It remains to be seen what it's useful for. Like we have digital scarcity. We've associated value with it, but more often than not, it's like a storage of value. I park my money here in hopes that it gains paper value, but I'm not sure what I can do with it in a lot of ways. And what the fuck are you doing? What business? D just popped up in a book. For those who aren't watching the video, D popped up in a large book that said business math on it.
Practice what I preach. Sometimes you gotta pull out the textbook every once in a
What's
while.
interesting about this is like the NFT space and like this like non-fungible token space and attachment to physical goods is literally a place in which you can use that digital currency to buy things. So we have the fungible part, what we call cash, what we call money. And then we have this marketplace of goods for a myriad of things, a bunch of different use cases, things, whatever, that you can then use this money on. And it's built together. Like the rails that push these two things is identical. That's
It's
fucking
beautiful.
That's awesome, right?
It's
Like
sexy. You want to know the cool thing about APY as a performance indicator? Jesse, pointing at you.
Yeah. Go for
Pointing
it.
at you, Jesse.
he's got a pointer for some reason because he has no whiteboard or any other thing to point on.
The unique thing about APY as a performance indicator is because it is a generalized performance indicator, meaning anything in the world can have an annual percentage yield. I could have an annual percentage yield on the amount of mold growing on something that I planted if I were growing mold. I could have an annual percentage yield on, I don't know, if I buy a certain thing, how much more of that thing am I going to have a year from now? Or if I plant something, or if I build something, if I say, hey, here's a group of people who are building a thing, what's the annual percentage yield on how fast they build a thing? So you can literally have an APY of any of the things so long as you're creative. What's the yield? The yield is whatever the fuck you want to make it. Yield is a general term. I love it.
So what do you
Beautiful.
want to talk about besides that? Because I thought you were gonna talk about that so that you could link a new concept, or like.
I was just saying,
He just basically said APY is awesome.
That's
And
it.
Nothing,
That's all I did.
Nothing else. That's all he said, right?
Okay.
No,
I
but
thought you were gonna talk about volatility of APYs because that's something that's really
Yes.
relevant, right? So you have
It is.
stability, right? You
Absolutely.
have I think something that most people aren't thinking about, like I mentioned in the Avalanche channel when Yagi was talking about staking rewards, you actually can't just rely on the staking rewards and say that, okay, because for instance, that specific example I used was Cardano. They have an APY on paper of say 7%, right? But if you look at the adjusted APY, right? It's actually negative 2%, negative 2.04 or negative 2.4, something like that, right? So people, I assume the smart people are looking at adjusted APYs, right? And they're also factoring that into, again, like you said, it's an indicator, it's a generalized indicator. So you can't just look at that one thing, right? But that is one thing to take into account into a whole bunch of other variables that do adjust the APY in real time. And so I think maybe if you guys know any other factors that might adjust.
What's adjusted? What do you mean by adjusted? Can you explain that?
So yeah. So as you increase the amount of token in circulation, if it outpaces let me just pull it up so I can read it verbatim.
So here's an example, right? I want to make a concrete example for people to understand. I got a raise, right? Cool. Am I making more money? To me,
Are you?
You are. You are.
From a surface level standpoint, I may be making money, but if that raise is not commensurate or on the same level as the level of inflation of the underlying currency that I take my money in, then the buying power of the money that I make is less than what it would be if it's not at the same level of inflation. So if my raise, if I got a raise every year that matched inflation, then my buying power stays the exact same.
Right.
This is something that's directly relatable to people in their everyday lives.
Yeah.
See, and
If I get a raise,
what you're saying is that the adjusted APY takes into account the inflation rate of the underlying asset.
Absolutely. So like going back to what you're saying, if you're not getting a raise for at least say 2% is the average inflation. If you're not getting a raise of 2% every year, you're essentially
losing money,
burning money. Yeah, you're burning it, losing it, whatever you want to say, right?
big facts.
And if your money, so that's why I keep bringing up this concept of if your money isn't growing, your money, if your money is stagnant, your money is essentially, you're losing it. Your wealth is being diminished. And so you have to keep that shit growing.
Absolutely.
D, why do you have so many pins in your hand?
What are you talking about?
One's a pencil.
You have three small pin-like utensils.
I'm using these for pointing purposes. All right. You're not supposed to say anything, Corey. You're stealing the comedic effect.
Oh, I was hoping that you just ended up with like 15 of them, and then
You're stealing the comedic effect.
I didn't notice it. You had the pointer at start, and then I looked back, and you have 4 things in your hand.
You just stole the comedy out of it.
Oh
done
no,
with the joke.
I enjoyed
I
the
just-
comedy of it.
I just
Just
slowly
stop
realized
it.
I have all these fucking pins laying around. I'm like, damn, what's wrong?
What does that stand for?
Trairac. Oh, we're going off the rails. We're
Oh,
going
okay.
off the
Sorry,
rails.
I think that means off the rails. Sorry,
Going
we have a
off the
gift now for off the rails.
Yeah. This is great. I love this.
That was clever, Alicia.
So yes, Jesse's absolutely right. Since in the economy that we live in, if you're not 3.3% adjusting your money upward every year, you're losing value. And I know what you're thinking. Like, but wait a second. Like, I've got all this money. It's a big pile of money. Yeah, by the time that big pile of money is supposed to be supporting you when you're elderly, it's not going to buy you that many groceries. It's just not. I'm sorry. That's the system that we live in, right? So every year, you got to be thinking of, okay, how can I make my money go up 3.5%? Whether it's investing, whether it's finding some unique saving account, it's probably not, right? So
traditional finance, you ain't getting 3% on traditional finance.
yeah, it becomes a measure of rates, right? That's why that's why house debt is good, because you're going, what is it? It's a 2% interest rate, right? So you're getting that negative 2% negative, but if your investments are 11% to the good, then you're 9% to the good, right? Just the quick napkin math for you guys, right? That's why credit card debt is horrendous, because that's 22% to the negative. What in the hell are you going to do in a year to give you greater than 22% return on that year's worth of financial activity? Not a lot of things, except for crypto. Am I fucking right, guys? Am I fucking right?
Yeah,
Depends on the
what
year.
I'm-
No.
So like,
Yeah.
bringing it back to crypto, I'm curious about like the original conversation, right?
Yeah.
And that is this interaction between earnings and NFTs, because NFTs are going to be this like, I own this thing, and there's going to be value associated with just owning it. And from there, you're probably going to start making derivatives off ownership of various entities. So if I try and put this directly into something that I can imagine going on now, no, it's going to be if I look at the Avalanche network, right? What constitutes a node? You're muted, D. If I look what constitutes a node in Avalanche, it is a certificate authority. It is literally a piece of like traditional cryptography that I own that says this is my node, and I can move that CA or so a piece of cryptography to whatever computer I want. And when I start a node on that computer, it is the node that the whole network recognizes. So the ownership of that node has some type of reputation associated with it. People delegate. People may delegate to that node and make money off of it. That is essentially an NFT. It is a piece of unique digital art, digital thing. But we haven't recognized it as that type of thing in the crypto industry. So like, I can sell ownership of a specific piece of property that makes money. So you have this like multi-sided marketplace of, I have ownership of the thing that makes money, and then I have all of the things that derive value from ownership of that thing. And that goes back to like the status concept, right? Where we have the multi-sided marketplace for sticker market. We have an art marketplace for those who have created art and stickers in the status sticker marketplace. So artists can create stickers, they deploy them, they make money off them, they decide where that money goes. And then we have people who buy those stickers and use them in the application. Both of those things are NFTs. So like, I can make as an artist a unique premier set of stickers, and maybe only 20 people can have them. So people buy that as an NFT. They can use them in the status application, and they can use those stickers as like fun emojis in whatever communities they're in.
Mhm.
And then that makes a bunch of money. Well, me as an artist, I can say, well, I'm going to monetize the ownership of this thing, and I can sell that as a separate NFT.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of weird stuff you can do. Pouring water on the money tree. Like to me, those are examples of like interactions of money and ownership of digital goods that we have yet to explore, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just wait, man. Like I just get so excited about this stuff, and I usually don't like. No, yeah, I do. I fucking talk about price a lot now because I'm right. So, like, the financial. Nobody saw that. Nobody saw
Swap.
that. The financial industry, which is a very poor way of putting it. Let's call it segment. Once these people that you know went to school for finance and learned all these cool algorithms and formulas that do all kinds of neat things with money and finance and financial situations and financial products, really start to sink their teeth into this stuff, shit's gonna get crazy really fast. It's already gotten to the point where it's like, I can't keep up with this shit. There's badger, there's zebras, there's fucking, then there's rhino, there's sushi. I don't even fucking know what sushi is. I know Coinbase has it now. Like, I'm just trying to figure all this shit out. Then Corey, you sent me that website not too long ago where you can like plug and play different DeFi protocols and try to make your own money machine. Like, it's a wrap. Like, there's not a single sane person on the planet that is gonna say like, oh, I can just sit on my money and at best get 3.5% return on the year, or I could just like play with it a little bit and probably get like 15-20%. Just
play
from
with it a bit
Or
more, just
lose it.
or lose it. Yeah, for sure. Happen.
yeah, but
me
what are
too.
the odds of losing it if you play in the?
Well, it's
in the safe
it's
pool?
getting better. Where like you're going to be like at worst case scenario,
Well, this is a
you
good point.
stay the same.
This is a good point. Let's outline though. Let's outline all. Let's outline
Okay, Wolverine.
all the. Let's outline how losing it works and how our audience can stay away from losing it.
Well, that's an interesting part because I've been thinking about this from a tax perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
I sold a bunch of crypto this year. It was a bull run. It reached the peak. I said it reached the peak. I sold a bunch of crypto.
Damn, Mr. Money
Right?
Buckets over here. Look at you go.
Oh, I called it twice. Keep listening, right? If I say sell, it's probably a good time.
Take a little bit off the top.
But like a part of that is I learned my lesson from previous times, and I need to understand how to handle taxes associated with selling these things. And so when I sold enough that the taxes are taken care of. But that money's going to sit for a while. Right? Like I have this like money that I've set aside for paying taxes on the money that I sold. Because I want to make sure that I take into account, I don't want to be burdened by paying taxes later on down the line. So I set that money aside. Now this money's just going to sit. But we're in DeFi. Why would I let it sit? So now we're in a position where I can put my money in a spot where it doesn't actually change in terms of its underlying value, but it makes money.
But here's the question: does the further money, like say you pull it and you put it into USDC, does that 2% APY on USDC incur taxes?
Yes,
Further.
it does. Yeah, for sure, 100%. So like the gains that I make from the interest of whatever I'm putting this money into, does that get taxable? Yeah, but the underlying was it principal doesn't. That money that I'm setting aside to pay taxes stays there. I can't lose that money. Well, depending upon the risk of whatever I'm putting it into, you can lose that money. But that's not volatile. It just stays there. And then it accrues money because people are using it for various things as liquidity for other services.
Let me slice
So I
this
pay-
up for you, bub. When you have to That was well played, Alicia. I like it. You're in here now. You're in here
No,
now.
you did that, D.
I did not do that. You didn't
Oh,
see my
Alicia,
arms
you
were
are
not moving
on.
at all.
You are on point.
Me and Alicia, we're getting locked in, man. This is what we needed in our lives. We needed a platform. We need a platform to express our uniqueness. All right. Now, Bub, let me slice this up for you. And I do happen to know that your childhood nickname was Bub. So,
Bubba.
it's very accurate. Your mom calls you Bub, bro. I'm in the room.
They all
She
call me
says it.
Bubba. My family nickname is Bubba.
Your mom calls you Bub. I
Yeah, it's
sit right
short for
next to her
Bubba.
while she calls you Bub.
Short for Bubba.
I mean, whatever. I hear Bub.
I am Uncle Bubba. Go ahead. Continue.
So, nevertheless, I'm not going to argue with you about your own name because that's stupid looking at it now. What? Okay, so say you take out 250K, 350K, 500K. You put it into USDC and not USD, and you lock that up, and you start getting that 37%. Right then, now do you have to pay 15%?
What the fuck percentage are you talking about?
I've been telling y'all this shit for like months
All right.
now that I'm
Whatever, go
currently
ahead.
getting 37%.
37%. Okay. Well, we're
gonna put
gonna
this in
pick
the
this up.
TV.
We're gonna put this up later.
That's
No,
US.
don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. That's bullshit, Alicia.
What is that from?
That's Forrest
Forrest
Gump.
Gump.
That's Bubba
Oh,
Gump.
damn.
It's Bubba Gump.
Oh, that's
no.
Bubba. I get it, but that
Okay.
was bad timing. That was
Damn.
That was bad timing.
Damn.
Jessie's so taken aback by it. Look at his
I
face.
am.
She's like, "Damn, that's brutal." That's
She's like in sync with you, but like
I'm
it's
getting
like
37%.
it's like a double-edged sword. All right.
All right, look.
Keep it up, Alicia.
One, I am getting 37%. It even says it on the app. Two, I don't know where I was going, but yeah, like
But that's
say
not
you do
just USDC. Like that's you providing liquidity
liquidity to
using
a liquidity
USDC,
pool.
which
Using
is
USDC.
which is different than what Corey, I assume, is
What
doing,
I'm talking
which is-
about, what I
he's
did
just-
was
I know,
nothing. I literally am just. I have USDC in Coinbase. It
Yeah.
makes money.
exactly.
I know.
That's
Doesn't do
what
anything
he's
else.
talking about.
That's what I'm saying is like wouldn't the return on the USDC need to outpace the let's just start with round numbers. I'm trying to think
Yeah,
through
yeah.
a scenario.
Think round
live.
numbers. You use a round.
We got $100,000
Okay.
and we just took that out of a cryptocurrency. We now have
Okay.
to pay
How much did you make?
15%.
How much did you make? What was the initial investment?
Fuck. The
This is
initial
getting
investment was
stupid.
Say
the initial-
10,000.
It's not getting stupid. The initial
Say
investment
10,000
was
and you pulled out 100K.
and we 10x'd.
Yeah.
Right. We put out 100K. So the margin there is 90K. So I'd need to pay 15% on 90K. Right.
More than that, right?
No, it's 15% if it's long-term gains. If it's short-term
Okay,
gains, I think
okay,
it's
so we're-
22%.
Depends on your tax bracket,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah,
Exactly.
your tax
So,
bracket.
all right, so I'm paying 15% on that 90K. So what's
Mhm.
15% on 90K?
Yeah, I'll
It's
crank with you.
$13.5 thousand.
Mhm.
Okay, so that 13. So out of that 100K that's now sitting in Coinbase,
Mhm.
getting a return because it's USDC and there's rewards for keeping USDC in Coinbase. Wouldn't those
So it's
rewards?
2,000 a year, by the way. I think it's like some maybe 2. Actually, they dropped it, right? Because it used to be.
Yeah, they drop it. They
point-
move it up and down.
It's like 0.13% right now.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
why
shit.
not? Why not put that into a liquidity pool that grants you
You're
more?
right. What my
Because that's a
my
new, that's
original
new taxable, unique.
Oh,
my
that's not-
original
no, the math
statement.
equation. The math equation keeps going.
Yeah.
Then every single percentage point on that new chunk of money that you have sitting in a liquidity pool, don't you pay taxes on those gains too? So it's like
Yeah.
it's like a perpetual tax loop.
If you make money, you pay taxes on it. What I originally said was, I set aside a portion of money that was for paying taxes. I can make money off that because it's not going to do anything for a while. I have intentions of paying taxes.
Yeah.
I have intentions of paying taxes on whatever I make off of that money. But since I'm not actually trading it, like the value doesn't change when I move it into different places to make money off of it, it's no longer taxable events because the value doesn't change. So I could park it somewhere and it makes money.
Sexy.
And since the underlying value of the thing doesn't change wherever I'm parking it, like the underlying principle and where it sits doesn't change in value.
Mhm.
That tax that like basically like what I've set aside for taxes is continually making me money as I'm being responsible for selling crypto.
Mm-hmm. Listen to this.
That's a new thing, right? Like that's not something that I can think about previously. Like, well, maybe you could do this in traditional finance. I don't think it was very accessible.
Listen to this. Listen to
Yeah.
this sexiness, audience.
I think it's that.
Listen to this sexiness. I'm gonna put you on something, audience, and then I'm gonna let you fuck with that because it's a little too risky for me. But I thought of it while I was on the bidet. You can take your crypto, lock it up, get some rewards, put it on using Coinbase. Probably you can put that, get some rewards on it. Then you can take a loan out on your own assets that you own sitting in there, getting a return. Take that loan, buy some more crypto, get a return. It's just never ending fun if you want to fuck with it like that.
Do not listen to D.
Don't do that. That's a dangerous game.
Don't do what D is talking
But
about.
all you would need to do is have gains that were larger than the percentage rate on that loan.
That amount of leverage on
we're essentially
underlying
creating
assets
leverage.
is a dangerous game.
That bidet thought was brought to you by D. Hashtag not investmentized. Hashtag don't sue me.
But what Daniel said, like that's like so what you just talked about,
bro, I love
is literally a good portion of
it's like 99% of DeFi, like Pickle and all that.
That's what DeFi protocols are doing. Is trying to automate that process of what can we lock up, make gains from, lock that up, make gains from, and leverage as much as you can with the minimal amount of risk.
Wait, so I just thought I was doing something fancy, and that's just what
you
DeFi
just described DeFi.
That's hilarious.
But then remember how
groups of people.
That one interview person, you said, do you have your I'm sorry speech prepared?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, they might need to have
need.
I'm sorry speeches prepared. That's the whole, point.
So to Jesse's point, the 37% that I've been ranting and raving about, and it's actually real. It comes down a little bit when I actually take that money out of the pool and I want to withdraw it from the pool. There's going to be a fee the miners are going to charge me on that, and it's going to be relatively higher than if I were just sending money to Corey because it's a complex contract. So that takes down the 37%. So I'm trying to make this realistic.
Well, those margins are dependent upon how much you're actually doing.
Absolutely.
Those fees are constant based on what the gas fees are for Ethereum or wherever you're doing these things.
But
there's too many combinations of percentages and fixed costs that it's not really useful because it's not generalizable. You know what I mean?
It's not simple. It's not simple yet.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It will be simple. We're at a point now where we are building our email client from source and then finally emailing our friend who may or may not get it because he's building his email client from source and he may have fucked that up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that, we're at that stage of
this close to you've got mail.
financial puzzle blocks.
This close.
And eventually it's going to get to the point where that's not the case. It's just simple. You say, I want my money to do this, and you click and you put it in the spot that it does that, and that it does that thing.
I think there's going to be like a way that people come in and just slice that though, Corey. Unless you're like always staying ahead and always like putting in like...
You're right.
Yeah.
The high risk stuff will always have the highest yield.
Yeah.
But if the low risk stuff is still 3 to 5%,
it's great.
It's great.
How much better is that than what we currently have as options?
Well, stock market is like what 9% averaged, and like
7.
All right, it was still better than 3 to 5% that crypto.
Yeah, that's
cool. Yeah. Put yourself in a like a long term bond.
No, not a bond. A bond is ass.
No shit. Like right. Like so. Like where you can park your money from like government investments. They're garbage.
I'm gonna share something with you guys. First things first, I need to give the shout out to Yagi. Yagi built this. He and I come back to it and have conversations about it from time to time, and we speculate. Give me just a second. I'm gonna try to pull it up here.
We're running out of time here. We should.
I understand. But essentially, what we're trying to do is, damn it, No, it's not what I want to do.
This is a part of the wonderful Bitcoin podcast community. Hit him
Yeah, so
with the icon,
you
not
should-
that icon.
This
A different
isn't off
icon.
the rails. This isn't off the rails. You should tip Yagi. Come to the Slack and tip Yagi. I'm gonna share my screen over here.
Audio people, sorry
Do I have
about you,
anything on here that's like,
dude. What are you?
Yeah,
come on.
you don't want to have that drive.
Hold up.
Come on. What are you doing,
What are you doing?
this noob?
I don't think anything was in there was important.
Why don't you have the file up that you want to share, and then
That's what I'm gonna
keep
do.
screen share.
That's
Yeah.
what you do. You get it ready and then you
Is
share
this
it.
live? Is this
We're
live in the
nude.
world?
Yeah,
This
super
is
live. We're doing a video apparently. D doesn't understand how live video works.
Yeah.
Shit. Damn it. I knew this shit was gonna happen one day. Fuck. Don't look at sending my shit backstage. Oh yeah, it is backstage. Okay.
This is being
You
recorded
control
as well.
this, D.
All right, hold up. I don't control it. She controls it while I'm not controlling it, and I'm not controlling it right now.
Quality reference.
We're gonna get doxxed.
All right, now it's up there.
D's gonna get doxxed. I'm gonna be
Oh
sad.
yeah.
I need to go
Oh,
change
God.
my life real fast. Somebody's gonna freeze that pain and like, fuck is he got going on in there? All right,
God.
but anyways, so what Yagi and I do is track the year-over-year movement the year-over-year movement of Bitcoin. And what you see here, I'm gonna go ahead and add to the screen. What you see here are
Numbers.
click.
You have so many
You're
tabs.
so bad at
that
this,
shouldn't
dude.
be open.
All right.
My God,
What?
dude.
Anybody to see
Do
my-
we need to have like a workshop of like how to share
You know
your
what? I
screen?
think we
Hit
do.
F11. Hit
Yeah,
F11.
you need to hit F11 for real.
Oh, there we go. All right, now let's bring it back. Stop it. Alicia.
Jesus Christ.
Stop it, Alicia. Why do you keep doing that? to me?
37%. Like, just
So I think when I did the math last, if you count the number of months that are red and compare that to the number of months that are white to green, like your odds of investing in Bitcoin and not making money on a year is something crazy. Like it's like there's an 87% chance that you are going to increase your money by quite a bit if you look at these percentages.
mm-hmm.
Right
Now
now,
they stack sats, right?
that's
Just
why
like
they stack
like a
sats.
concentrated sentiment.
Now, here's the thing. Obviously, you have to say historical performance isn't indicative of
Yeah, right.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, odds are odds, right? And look at these percentage gains. November is a clear winner. That's why every single person who's been in crypto for any amount of time in November, they get their giblies start to get a little bit warm in November, because even if you average this, that's 11. That's 1,001. That's 11,400. No, that's the percentage. The average is 1,270.
All right, take out that 8,000 number and average those.
Okay, let's do that then. 341% returns in November. That's
still
pretty
pretty good.
beefy.
So,
Yeah.
so
Right.
it's not, I'm trying to take out like anomalous behavior for that one.
107,
But-
9, 1.
What you will see, and this is the graph that Yagi.
Oh no, you got to take out the average. You have the average involved in the average. So stop that. So 66. Take out the 8,000.
Oh, I see. I did have the average in the average. Good call. 208%. My bad.
Still wonderful,
Mhm.
right? That's still
Very-
wonderful returns.
Very good
Mhm.
returns. That's 100, 200. That's double. That's tripling your money, right? 100% is doubling.
Just for November. What does that mean for just November?
Just November, right? So, but this is the graph that I like to show, and that is, I think it's this one. These astronomical jumps are getting smaller and smaller. This is they're getting smaller and smaller, which means that
Yeah, jump ship. No, just kidding.
no, you don't. What I don't know. You know what? There's very interesting things to prognosticate.
This is
from
just for
you.
Bitcoin.
This is just
Uh-huh,
for Bitcoin.
that's-
But like, what does it mean as Bitcoin's price jumps decrease, but still overall are going up? What does it mean for the other cryptos? What does it mean for? It's very fun to look at data sometimes. I find it very fun to say like, oh, like okay, these price jumps are obviously getting smaller.
A rising tide might lift all boats.
Mm-hmm.
Is a possible hypothesis.
Yeah.
Especially as the it's like over time we there's no arguing that in the beginning, the only way to get to other cryptocurrencies was to go through Bitcoin. So you had to go from fiat to Bitcoin and then Bitcoin to other things.
Yep.
That's no longer the case whatsoever. So the transaction volume of Bitcoin has been lowered because no one's having to go through it to get to other things. And the utility of other things, namely Ethereum, has grown dramatically. And if you just look at those, like that's just a small example of all of the possible things that could be happening. Like people used to have to go through Bitcoin to get to Ethereum to use the utility of Ethereum. Utility of Ethereum has grown, but you don't need to go through Bitcoin to get there anymore. So like that's not going to be reflected in the year over year of Bitcoin because they're not going through Bitcoin anymore. And so that metric is interesting in that the reliance upon Bitcoin for particular types of, I guess, yearly bumps is diminishing over time. Probably because, and at the same time, crypto's continuing to blow up. Like crypto in general, blockchain in general, hasn't gotten smaller since over the years. It's gotten much, much, much bigger. It means that Bitcoin is becoming smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of the thing that people go to on a year-to-year basis as it blows up.
I feel like by virtue of participation in crypto, not because we intended to, but because it just happened to be how it played out, we're like reverse engineering the history and how money actually works and how it is understood by macro traders.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm just looking at like charts and trying to rationalize why those things are happening as you have other things outside of the that chart you just showed is a narrow perspective on the crypto industry.
Yeah,
it is a year over year of Bitcoin alone.
Yeah, it's very narrow, but the
amount of money that's flowing into this industry is massively larger than that. But if Bitcoin was still the linchpin for getting into crypto, that trend would not be the case. It would be growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, I don't know though. Like it's still going to diminish though, right?
If you were required to use Bitcoin to get to other cryptos,
yeah,
the year over year chart would be growing.
Oh, okay, yeah, yes. On that premise, 100%, I agree. Yeah.
So that's not the case anymore. We can agree on that. That's no longer the case. You don't need Bitcoin to get into crypto.
Yeah.
And not only do you not need it, people aren't doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So people are throwing their money into this industry directly into things that are not Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
I agree.
True. That is happening.
You ever feel like if somebody did like a simulation of like a moth to a flame, where if you modeled the flame as a speculative investment that the intensity of the flame is modeled by the volume and the amount of money thrown at that specific vehicle, then you could actually kind of characterize the dynamics of the moth being the stand-in for people being attracted to the flame.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I don't I've never seen it, and that'd be interesting to see.
We do have to wrap.
Yeah, go for it.
I said a hip, a hop, the hip it to the hip it to the hip hop, and you don't stop, a rapping to the bang to the book. Rap.
I was ready for you to keep going.
Rap with the W. So, are
you drinking? Did you drink tonight?
Bro, no.
I think he's just tired. He gets better when he gets a little tired.
He gets better. He gets better when he gets a little tired.
I mean, like everybody does.
He kind of sucks when he's like really on it.
Oh, come on, that's not what I meant.
When he's like on par, he's terrible. But like when he's just a little tired, point. I'm
gonna say that to my girl later. Be like, I get better when I get tired. Let's keep on going. Sorry, that was whack. No, it wasn't. It was awesome. So let's bring up the poppables. Go to patreon.com/the Bitcoin podcast. You become a patron and you can help us make better content. You can see all of our patrons that have supported us to this point have obviously got us to a point where now Corey has high clarity cameras with fuzzies.
You like
You
that
know,
fuzzy background? You like that
Jesse's-
fuzzy
Jesse's
background?
Jesse's got look at his hair. How much money are our patrons helping us with for you to have locks like that? Like, what kind of shampoo are you using? You guys do that. The patrons do that. They allow this man right here to have some of the best hair in crypto.
Not sure how that dynamic works, but
Guaranteed, Jesse's using a bar of soap for
It's
shampoo.
part of the tier. It's
So,
if
whoa,
you pay
Jesus.
$5, it goes straight
That
to
was too loud.
Jesse's shampoo fund for that. Damn it, it's nice. Join the Slack. You can find people like Yagi, who is a genius in his own right, and everyone in our Slack is gonna help you learn, but maybe not like the shit that you'll see about this basic shit. Like, everybody in there is some power users. All right, we got a power user hub.
No, we have a whole gamut of people. We have people going
we
from
don't.
like the depth to people who are coming in asking questions. And if you want to come in and ask questions, there are people who are willing to answer those questions for you.
Mhm.
Like,
That's true.
we are very welcome to people who don't know what's going on or interested,
Shampoo
who
token.
want to learn from the people who are like balls deep in this industry.
The Slack immediately was like, we need to make a shampoo token. Shampoo token.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, they did. They immediately, shampoo token coming at you.
Rug pull token. Anyways, obviously the Slack is awesome and it's very engaging, which is cool to see all this stuff start to link together. If you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, that's the icon, but also you can be listening to this podcast on other things like player.fm or Spotify.
Is that up?
Player.fm. Player.fm.
Spotify is still pending. We're kind of in
How
a
the
dispute
fuck are we
with
not on
the government.
Spotify?
Yeah, we need that Spotify.
We're in
How
a
the
dispute
fuck are we
right
not on
now.
Spotify?
We're in a dispute right now because of
Alright,
the old
cool.
show that we had. So, once we get that, what is it, a copyright strike, whatever they fucking say. Once that's done, we're fine. So like us, leave a review. If it's 4 stars or below, fuck you. We don't need that.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't
Go
waste
fuck
your
yourself.
time.
Leave. Do
We
not
want
give us
5
anything below 5 stars.
Stars, baby. 5
5
estrellas.
stars.
5 estrellas. All right. Like, subscribe, ding the bell. Hold up.
Fax machine.
Please share, like, subscribe, follow, and review our show. What does that say about Fax Machine? So we do take fax.
Timothy is leveling up ad infinitum on the Slack. Has said Fax Machine, the only podcast on fax.
That's right.
Get him, son.
right.
Casting
Hit 'em up
call for artists.
Ah, yes. So
I don't know what that says.
in our
NFTs.
quest to give NFTs to our audience in a way that brings value to their lives, we need artists, digital artists, to come and work with one of our Slack members.
Timmy, I'm looking at you.
Member of our team. Sorry, I didn't realize I had so much dog hair on my shirt. It's crazy to realize that while you've already been live for an hour and 20 minutes.
Can't really see it. Don't worry.
Now I can't unsee it. So if you're a digital artist or just an artist, in
Musician.
general,
You could be anything, right?
or a
'Cause,
musician or anyone,
everything.
and join the Slack. And as this could be a mutual thing as where you learn NFTs and how to launch them and how to mint them and how to be the NFT. You'll help us help our community, right? And it'll be pretty nifty.
Oh,
So,
waiting for it. Don't acknowledge it. Don't acknowledge it.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
acknowledge it.
okay.
If you've ever been a past guest of the show, you're going to get NFT'd by us, and there's nothing you can do about it because we own the audio. So, motherfucker. All right. So, anyways, let's give some shout outs. I'd like to give a shout out to Megan Thee Stallion. Girl, you're really doing it. You're doing it. Look at her. She's, she was in nursing. She's in nursing school.
Is she though?
Right now?
She's in nursing school right now.
Anybody can be in nursing school.
Actually, it's pretty competitive.
Not anyone can be in nursing school.
Mom's
She's
competitive.
clearly doing it right.
Oof.
I actually have to know that. She competes very well with your mom, Corey. Shout out to Michelle Obama. Shout out to Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan. Shout out to her. Shout out to her and him.
Lucia, you're listening.
Shout out to Aladdin for doing his shit. And
Oh, well played.
the
sir.
entire world that you could just be a street rat, but still get to marry the princess of Arabia.
Bidet token.
Oh,
Doggy
of
says.
course, the OG Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana with a wide mouth. All right, guys.
Yagi just said bidet token, the sophisticated shitcoin.
So, there's one last thing. I don't understand why I don't shout this out more, because obviously it's something to do. But shout out to all you that listen to our show and have continued to listen to our show, and tell your neighbors to listen to our show. And now hopefully tell your neighbors to watch our show and hang out with me and my dog, and Corey and his dogs, and Jesse and his amazing hair. Shampoo token coming at you. Look at he buy it, shampoo token. Shout out to Yagi, to Andy, Timothy, Daniel, of course, Daniel and Alicia. They're here. They help us. They've helped us. They continue to help us. Who am I missing here?
There's too many. There's there's a shitload of people in this line.
TJT safe. He's one. JT from Badger. Holy shit! Shout out to you, man. Like you were like, man, I'm tired of listening to those motherfuckers talk about this shit. I'm about to be about this shit, and look at you go. Mad shout outs. Don't know if I have any.
You know what? Join the Slack and get a job.
Join the Slack, get a job.
That
That should be our bitch.
We'll help you get a job. I've seen multiple people join the Slack, become a part of the community, learn about stuff,
These are
wake
facts.
up, and get a job that has changed their career.
Hold up, man. It's got to be a
multiple
good
times.
commercial. Are you working in a job that sucks balls? Are you
You're-
working? Huh?
Your like commercial voice is wonderful. Can we start making
It is.
commercials with like
I do.
just stupid commercial? Alicia, the commercials that we're gonna do from here on out are gonna be
Yeah.
D's commercial voice.
Does your job suck and ergo your life? Do you want to change that because your life is sucking? Join the TBP Slack. Get a better job. Have a better life. Here we go.
Record that.
Play.
We're gonna air it everywhere.
Play. Play the outro.